there is such thing as being overhydrated. And I know I never thought that. I just thought, just drink and whatever. If you don't need it, your body will just get rid of it.
And it does. It does get rid of it. That's the problem. The problem is it doesn't have the energy it needs. So yes, you're going to drink the water and you're going to keep drinking and drinking and drinking. But if you notice, you're going to the bathroom a lot.
Yeah.
So all that electrolytes, all that energy, all that what the cells need is being just taken right away.
Yeah.
So you could be drinking all day long and it wouldn't matter. You'd still be tired or fatigued or whatever those symptoms you have, because you don't need all that water. You need what's in the water.
Yes. And so often in order to get overhydrated, it's drinking too much at once. Mm-hmm. And in the beginning we had talked about, what do you do when you're thirsty?
Gulping it,
yep.
You're gulping it,
drink this 16-ounce bottle of water,
right.
Or just
right.
Drink it all down because you're thinking, my body needs all this. I have to make up for all this liquid that I need, especially if you're working out and you sweat, or if you're exerting yourself at work, or whatever you're doing that you feel like, I really need to replace my water. But to guzzle it all at one time, now this is where you could run into overhydration, because you're giving so much all at one time. Your body can only absorb but so much at one time. So if it can't absorb it, it's just going to kind of bypass the absorption and it's just going to go straight out.
And it takes 20 minutes. 20 minutes it takes for that to happen, because we go into a survival mode. When you're gulping all that water, the body gets into a survival mode. And so in 20 minutes, all that water is gone, is out of you. So now you got no balance.
Well, it's not
you
out
lose
if you
your balance. The
Who gets to go to
balance.
the bathroom exactly when they need to?
Oh, I'm telling you.
Let's just
You
be
can
honest.
plan it, though.
Like, who is not
that.
like, I'm going to go later? Like, who? You're at work, you're in a meeting, or you're at school, or you're wherever you are, and it's like, oh my gosh, I have to, okay, I'll just wait. And you hold it. Like, some of us hold it way too long. Your poor bladder is like, what are you doing? This is like hours and hours. It's been like, can you go? Can you stop and go? It'll only take a minute. Just stop and go. And you don't. So, I mean, within 20 minutes of drinking all that, your bladder's like, okay, I've used what I need. You can get rid of it, right? But other than that, you're holding it all this time. So now you've got water retention, and what's going on now? I don't know. That's another story. So basically, you do want to be able to not overhydrate. Yeah, that's not the best case scenario. So decreasing the sodium in your blood is not what you want to do, right? I know they talk to you about hypertension and how too much salt creates hypertension. But we're not talking about iodized white salt, first of all. So we're not talking about that.
Ever.
And we're not talking about foods that are salty because there's too much iodized salt in it. We're not talking about that.
Ever.
We're talking about when you drink too much liquid, you dilute the sodium. That the balance of sodium is important, right? Electrolytes are important. Our bodies are electric.
That's right.
All of this stuff going on, these processes, there's this spark, these electric sparks going on.
And the cells are looking for them.
Yeah, and so these electrolytes help to circulate and do all this and keep everything in a lovely homeostasis, right? So if I drink a ton of water, I mean, you just think about a bottle, and you put a bottle of water, and then you drop a colored, what am I saying? Dye.
Dye, yep.
Just a drop of dye, this one drop of dye, food coloring in it. You can barely see anything. But if you just squeeze a ton of food coloring in, it just gets darker and darker and darker, right? So now, the same way that the food coloring is like your electrolytes. If I have a good amount of electrolytes, I'm happy. But now you're going to have all this water added to it, and it's getting lighter colored and lighter colored and lighter colored, and it's diluting all the sodium, diluting all the potassium, diluting all of the chloride. All of your electrolytes are being diluted by drinking way too much water at one time. So we don't want to be overhydrating. That's not the best idea. What else? What else?
That's why I feel good about just drinking when I'm thirsty. I think I've made that transition where I used to count all the glasses of water, and now I don't. And I notice when I drink less, I feel better.
Yeah.
Because the electrolytes in that water are really working. And they balance me, so I'm not desperate. And then you know what? You can plan when you have to go to the bathroom, especially if you're working at a job.
You can't plan it out. But
You
a lot
kinda-
of times
you
you're
kinda-
doing like something
listen,
and like, oh, I'll
you
just wait until
can.
I'm done. I got
Yeah,
some more to do.
yeah, but you can actually, if you think about it, just don't drink as much. Don't drink as much, and
Sip
then
as you go.
Yeah, sip as you just sip all
That's
day.
for sure.
Yeah, sip instead of gulping and chugging down.
That's for sure.
Just sip all day with your electrolytes, with your Celtic salt, or whatever you put in it,
Yeah.
in your water.
I mean, you can definitely become so overhydrated that you could cause all kinds of like serious issues.
Oh, yeah.
You've probably heard about intermittent fasting. You've maybe even tried it. Maybe it didn't work out for you. Maybe you didn't get great results. Or maybe you just need a reset. But either way, we've got this free intermittent fasting guide for you. It's got lots of colorful pictures and lots of information with a 2-week plan to get you started intermittent fasting and enjoying the amazing benefits. So check the link below if you're watching YouTube, and if you're on the podcast, check the show notes. Get that link.
And it's easier than you think.
Yeah, so go get it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, seizures, coma. I mean, I know this is crazy, but you could die from too much water. I mean,
Actually,
but
you
we
can't.
already know that everything is in moderation.
That's right, but it was like that body
Yeah.
couldn't take all that
Yeah,
water.
that's way too much, because once you get out of balance with your electrolytes,
Oh,
the
my gosh.
major functions of the body can no longer happen. So visible signs of hydration and overhydration, you can actually look at your urine. And that's a quick test that you can do to look at what's going on in your body.
Yeah.
Okay, so coloring matters, right? So I know you're probably thinking like, why are we talking about bathroom stuff? But the fact is, this is your body. This is a function of your body, and you need to know what's going on, because this is what's going to tell you what's going on inside the body is what comes out of the body. It helps you to know that. So if you have very clear, colorless, like you pee, you leave, and it looks like nobody was there. Because the water, it's the same exact color, the water didn't change. It's colorless, clear.
Yeah.
That is too much water. You're overhydrated. Okay? That's your symptom. Overhydrated. It just went straight through and came out the way it went in. Right?
It's true.
Right?
No, you want to.
You need some coloring, like
You have
straw
to.
color, very pale
Yeah.
yellow. It's telling you that's a nice balance of hydration. And then we'll talk about the darker colors when we get to dehydration.
Well, that's a whole nother
which
story.
We don't want the darker colors. All right, so stop drinking if you feel bloated, if you have a headache, if you feel nauseous. All of these things are telling you too much, slow down, too much. And you got to listen to your body. We talked about listening to our body. So that's one way to listen. All right, so what is good for hydration? What is good for hydration? Think about some things that is good. Don't chug water.
That's right.
Sip,
Don't gulp down
sip,
that
sip.
water. And there you go again, saying, well, I got to have 8 glasses of water in the day. No.
Yeah.
So don't chug down that water. Sip.
Yeah.
In the course
I mean, you
of the
can do
day.
a couple ounces. I'm not saying you can't drink 3 or 4 ounces
Yeah,
of
but
water,
some
like a
people
half a
just-
glass
yeah.
of water, but
Yeah.
not just like, not like that. And we already talked about the reason why. We also talk about, there's really no health benefit in drinking too much water. We talked about the negative side of that. There is such thing as too much. We don't want to do that.